You are Locked On Bulls Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Chicago on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome in to the Locked On Bulls Postcast here on the Locked On Sports Chicago YouTube channel. My name is Joe George. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. What the hell just happened? What just happened in this Bulls game? They have had 7 16-point or more comebacks. They were down by 18 points in the fourth quarter. And Josh Giddey just hit a half-court buzzer beater to beat the Los Angeles Lakers. What an absurd ending to this game. To work backwards just a little bit, getting the ball in bounds to Nikola Vucevic was a struggle. Patrick Williams, clutch three in the corner. Josh Giddey, steal. Coby White, three. Austin Reeves responds right away. And then Josh Giddey just throws that thing up there from half court, and bang, this game is over, and the Bulls win 119-117. They outscored the Lakers 44-26 in the fourth quarter. That game was wild. We have seen now officially every single possible thing, it feels like, that can happen with the Chicago Bulls this season. I can't believe that they had two 20-point comebacks when it happened, and they were within like a week of each other. To constantly have these moments where the Bulls are down huge, and Josh Giddey to have not just one. I mean, the buzzer beater is going to get all the attention, right? The steal is the play of the game, though. Patrick Williams hits the three. They force the turnover. Coby White hits that three in response. This game was wild. The Bulls have fully earned and deserve the nickname the Cardiac Bulls. They have been, if anything, fun this year. And they continue to just have fun moments. But again, as they've kind of changed, you heard AK on the broadcast, if you listen, like they talked about winning basketball and how things have changed, since the trade deadline and how this thing has really moved in a different direction. But Josh Giddey and Coby White, what those two guys did, not just there in the fourth quarter, but what they've done in the last 2 weeks through that road trip and everything, all these moments. Coby White, 14 straight games now with 20 points or more. He has been phenomenal throughout this time, and so is Josh Giddey. They are playing fantastic basketball together, the two of these guys, as your point guard and shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls. But that was just absolutely absurd. This team, they're up by 10 at the end of the first quarter. They come all the way back, the Lakers do. And again, they were up by 18 points in the fourth quarter. I was ready to put this, the stories, the headlines for this YouTube video were not kind for what I was writing, getting ready for this postcast show to happen. I made 3 versions of it before I finally was able to go live because of what Josh Giddey just did there at the very end of the game. He had his 5th triple-double of the season, 25 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists. He had 7 turnovers in this game, so a near quadruple-double again. This time not in the positive column for Josh Giddey there. But really just he's playing such good basketball for the Bulls right now. And again, so is Coby White. Coby White tonight, he ends up with 26 points, 9 assists. He goes 5 of 10 from the three-point line. Kevin Huerter, 21 points. He goes 5 of 10 from the three-point line. And that does feel like something that has been a bit of a roller coaster for the Bulls this year, is the success, the output of Kevin Huerter. But you can see how effective this team really can be when both him and Coby White are hitting their 3 points effectively. And obviously it's like, duh, of course, you're going to be better when people are hitting their threes. But that's part of the reason why I think you do make the trade for Kevin Huerter, because you're looking for someone that's going to consistently be shooting the ball well. And he wasn't doing that when you got him. He wasn't doing that before he was a Bull, when he became a Bull. And then he slowly has really got his shot back together and performed really well. And you just see how much it spaces the floor. And look, they were really close to not just obviously being down 18, like you're going to lose this basketball game, it feels like. But there at the end, the Lakers, they're talking about this on the broadcast, Adam Amin and Stacey King, they're not playing hack-a-shack, they're playing attack-a-vooch. I mean, they were doing everything they possibly could to get, whether it was Reeves or Luka, whoever they wanted on Nikola Vucevic to the point where they were questioning on the broadcast almost why he's still on the court because of what was happening defensively there at the end of the game, and the fact that the Lakers were just constantly going in and going after them and going after Vooch specifically and really getting whatever they wanted to at any given moment. So really a fun fourth quarter. It's hard to do this show and act like I'm speechless, but I kind of feel speechless. It's like buzzer beaters don't happen very often like that. And again, it's that 3-play sequence that was just so phenomenal and really just so impressive in this game. So let's get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's got to go to Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, Locked On Player of the Game. Not even a question of who the player of the game is. Yes, Coby White, 14th straight game. But what Josh Giddey did, hitting that buzzer beater at the end, he is absolutely tonight's Locked On Player of the Game. All right, let's look at one moment of this game as well that I think one of the things that impresses me the most about this win for the Bulls. And it's a negative thing that didn't blow this game up into smithereens for the Chicago Bulls. So as they're trying to make this comeback there in the fourth quarter, you have this sequence here where Coby White gets an offensive foul on their end of the court. The Lakers immediately score a bucket, and the Bulls at this point had got it down to 97-92. Then all of a sudden, LeBron finds Austin Reeves across the court for a three. Dalen Terry was looking in the cookie jar. He was nowhere near Austin Reeves on the other side of the court. The Lakers hit an easy three. The Bulls go right back down the court, and they get another offensive foul. Zach Collins decides he's going to play left tackle for the Bears instead of playing center for the Bulls. Gets an offensive foul, and as Josh Giddey is trying to score. So what turns into a 2-turnover possession with the Lakers 3 mixed in there, that's when I was like, oh, this game's over. Like, we're going to do our turning point of the game. And in just a minute or two here, that was like, okay, this game's over. Like, the Bulls are going to lose this basketball game. Those 2 offensive fouls are going to be the reason why they end up losing it. But that's why, again, very quickly hearing Josh Giddey in the post-game interview with Casey Johnson talking about the resilience of this basketball team. And throughout the entire year, one of the things that I've appreciated about this team was just the fact that they haven't quit on games. Even when they've been struggling, they're not one of those teams that has just given up on basketball games and just let it happen and let it get away from them and, losing typically by 30 or 40 points. And they've had so many opportunities to do so. And tonight's another prime example of being down 18 points after beating the Lakers by quite a bit a couple nights ago, or being down by 18 in the fourth. You could have packed your bags. Billy Donovan himself, he could have, pulled his starters and he could have just let this thing be over and the Lakers get the victory. And instead, we get absolute magic on a Thursday night. All right, let's get to our turning point of the game before we take our first break.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
This one's easy. We'll go back to the Josh Giddey steal. Josh Giddey steal. Coby White 3, and then Josh Giddey hits the buzzer beater to win the game. This one, it's really hard to pick any other moment there in the fourth quarter besides that ending sequence for the Bulls to outscore the Lakers 9-2, in which the Lakers only got one shot in that run, is really just, again, you see the headline here on YouTube if you're watching. Holy bleep. I cannot believe the Bulls actually won this basketball game 119-117 over the Lakers. All right, we will take a break here. When we get back, we'll talk about, yes, they got to win, but they stink at home. So an observation from that, just a curiosity. We'll get to our talking about segment as well, and then we will wrap up the show so everyone that's like me, a Cubs fan, can get back to watching the Cubs take on the Arizona Diamondbacks on opening day. We'll do that next year on the Locked On Bulls postcast and the Locked On Sports Chicago YouTube channel. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. The team that I've been rolling with this tournament so far, it's worked out pretty well for me, is the Houston Cougars. They take on the Purdue Boilermakers tomorrow night in Indianapolis. Couple blowouts so far today. Alabama crushed BYU. They hit like 26 threes in this game, 113-88, and the Florida Gators beat Scott Van Pelt's Maryland Terrapins by 16. So visit FanDuel.com right now and get in all the college hoops action all tournament long. All right, so what we'll be talking about, let's get into that right away here in our second segment of the show.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think the thing we'll be talking about after this game, not just the buzzer beater itself, is also the continued play of really more focusing on the stretch of Josh Giddey and Coby White. Mentioned it there early in the first segment. Okay, so that is going to be, the obviously the excitement of the game is the story of this basketball game. But I think the long-term story is, again, the play that we are seeing from these two guards together. Because, again, it gives you an idea, I think, of, yes, this season, they're probably a one and done in the playoffs. Like, even if they get out of the play-in tournament, they'll play Boston, they'll play Cleveland, whoever they end up playing, no matter what seed they get. And it'll be a struggle fest, right? We know that. They'll get one game. It'll be fun to be back in the real playoffs, hopefully, though. Hopefully we can get more than just a play-in game for the Bulls this year. Because if that's what they're going to try to do, you might as well go all in and do it. But I still think the idea of what we're seeing right now, the triple-double from Giddey, the 14 straight games, scoring 20 points or more from Coby White, what they're doing together on the court, again, just feels like it matters in terms of when you think about the construction of this roster going forward. So I think that's, to me, what we're talking about after this game. Now, I didn't change this part of the graphic here. I put stink at home with an exclamation point if you're listening on audio. Because it felt like they were going to lose this game, obviously. They were down by 18. They needed a miracle. The Bulls are 19-18 on the road this season. So they're well below 500 on the year at home. It's strange. I don't get it. I don't know what it means. It is just something that I think that we will have to continue to kind of keep an eye on going forward. Just the idea of like like if there's some kind of weird problem at home. I don't think there is. It's not the fans. The fans are crazy. I give Bulls fans so much credit again for sticking around with this team. Not just this year, but what it's been over the last couple years, where it's been play-in tournaments and late lottery picks, and even when they were high lottery picks, back to like when they just got the 7th pick in the draft every year, it felt like for like 4 straight years. Like, people stick around, and they've done that this year again, and you see it pay off for them tonight in this game. So that's what I think the next kind of step is for the Bulls. Like, if you're going to want to get everyone to buy all the way in, which I don't think everyone's there yet, and I don't think anyone should be there yet, I think that's kind of the next box to slowly check about the future of the Chicago Bulls, to start to win games at home. Because, like, that matters to the fans. Like, that matters to people who spend their hard-earned money to go watch this team. And, like, you got to win basketball games at home. That's something they need to do constantly going forward, even if they're still in the same position next year or whatever. Like, you got to win games at home. It matters. Like, that's what people, what want to see. They want to be able to pay to go sit at the United Center, get there, watch a game, maybe get some popcorn dumped on them by Benny the Bull, and enjoy themselves against playing a team like the Lakers. So the Bulls win 119-117. They are now 33-40 on the season. Yes, it's 14-22 at home on the year. So quick standings check in here. Here's where we stand right now. The Bulls still sit a game ahead, of the Miami Heat for the 10 seed, who are 3-7 in their last 10 games. The Bulls are 8-2. But the Magic and the Hawks have kind of figured it out a little bit. They're both 6-4 in their last 10 games. So the Bulls are now a game and a half back. So, like, they're still right there because the Magic lost their last game. So they're a game and a half back of the Magic, and they're only 2 games back of the Atlanta Hawks. There's not a lot of games left in the season, obviously. So there's not much time to really make that run at the 7th seed. But, man, it feels like it's within reach. Like, if that was the front office's goal, it feels like they're going to be able to achieve that this year, because the biggest knock on the Bulls as they've kind of, figured this thing out a little bit was the quality of opponents. But their last 3 wins are against the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and also the win before that was against the Kings. Those are 4 teams that are all at worst in the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, which I think everyone agrees is the better and deeper conference versus the East. So, look, they're playing good basketball. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate what they're doing. Those shows were tough near the deadline. So selfishly, I appreciate the Bulls playing good basketball, and I think all of us fans of the Chicago Bulls feel the same way as well. And shout out to Josh Giddey. What a shot on this night on opening day. Speaking of opening day, as we wrap up here, if you're watching live on YouTube, you're a Cubs fan, make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. These postcast shows start tonight, but they will be on that channel, Locked On Cubs on YouTube. So we will go live as soon as the Cubs and Diamondbacks game ends. If you're listening on audio, so you're listening to the next day, we'll be live again on Friday night after every game. All the Friday day games, all the Saturday, Sunday games, Monday through Friday, we'll be live on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. The Locked On Bulls postcast shows will stay right here, though, for the rest of the year on Locked On Sports, Chicago's YouTube channel. So thanks for watching. We will talk to you next time. Will not be Saturday because the Cubs play at the same time. So we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching, and peace.